So let's give a warm welcome to Chuck Gray.
I'm Chuck Gray and I'm running for Congress. And I think you need to know a little bit about who I am and about what I believe, because I think we've sent people to Washington who haven't had the core beliefs that we're looking for.
That's right.
My parents taught me, and I believe wholeheartedly, that the hand of the Lord was involved in raising up righteous men who fought against the tyranny of Britain to institute a country where we could govern ourselves.
Yes.
A constitution, which I believe also is an inspired document that is sacred in my view. And we need to honor that document because of the sacrifice that they put into it, but also because I think it's the will of God to make sure that we had a free country where we could live our religions and govern ourselves. This country is under attack, and we need people who are going to stand fast and stand strong against the attacks and not compromise our American values.
That's right. Yes.
Now let me tell you a brief story about what happened to me at the Arizona legislature. As Randy indicated, I spent 8 years at the Arizona State Legislature. In 2009, our governor wanted a tax increase. And we, the Republicans, said no. The House said no, the Senate said no. I was the Senate Majority Leader. I wrote the program and the premise that we said no new taxes, we're not going to do that. She came down to the budget deadline and said, if you don't send me a tax increase for $1 billion, I'll veto the budget. When that threat came across, the House caved in and sent a budget over to the Senate that did include a tax increase. The Senate stood firm, and I said no, as well as many of my members, to a $1 billion tax increase in 2009. She vetoed parts of the budget, and we went past the deadline and into partial government shutdown. Now the pressure increased. And this is the thing that you're talking about at Washington, those pressures, those arm twistings that go on behind the scenes. They threatened my position on the Rules Committee. I was vice chairman. They threatened my position as Senate Majority Leader. They threatened to caucus and vote me out. But I held firm, and I said no to a $1 billion tax increase.
Good.
They finally got it out of the Senate, but they did it without my vote, because I made a commitment that I wasn't going to have a tax increase. And so that's the kind of backbone that I take to Washington as a congressman. So we're going to open up the rest of this to questions.
Do you, in the end, represent the people or represent your principles if they go against what the wishes of the people are?
I support the Constitution to the point that if you try to tell me to do something against the Constitution, I will side with the Constitution, and that is my principle.
Excellent answer.
Yeah.
Well, I love that answer. Yes, because you take an oath not to the government, not to your district, not to yourself, not to anybody but the Constitution. What would you do with the 12 to 15 million, I think 25 million, illegal aliens that live within the United States?
The first thing that we have to do is secure the border so that no more don't come in.
Yes.
Because whatever we do.
Yes.
Because whatever we do, we can deal with them, and then more come in, we have to deal with them again. So first, secure the border. Second, as a police officer, I stopped many of these illegal aliens for whatever crimes or infractions or traffic violations or accidents that they caused. And they would not deport them. And so allowing for us to deport those who are coming in legitimate contact with law enforcement would get rid of a large majority of our problems.
Yes.
And so it's really got to be a multi-pronged process, but it's not amnesty. I do not support amnesty in any way, shape, or form.
The president is looking at some form of vote, and how far can he go, or what's your feeling about gun control?
First of all, I have an A+ rating with the NRA. I ran pro-gun legislation every single year I was down at the legislature. Secondly, Mr. Obama is using, in his mind, in the backroom deals, an idea of executive order to circumvent the Constitution like he's done on so many fronts. And so just because he's not being active overtly, he is doing it covertly.
Yes.
And so the only power that he has is the power we allow him to get away with.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? How do you feel about the clause that says, provide for the common defense and welfare of the nation? How do you interpret that?
I don't interpret the general welfare to be individual handouts of your taxpayer dollars.
Good. Yeah.
So I take it then that you would say, first off, any law obviously would have to be constitutional, and then anything along those natures would have to apply to all the people, not certain groups of people.
That's the word general, yes. It would apply to all the people, and I still don't think it's a government's job to start dishing out handouts.
Okay, excellent. What can you do to stop all the executive orders that President Obama seems to be wanting to write these days?
The first thing that you can do, obviously impeach, although that's very difficult depending on the political circumstances. The second thing you can do is have a Congress that has the backbone to pass laws that invalidate his orders, because they do not have the force of law unless, again, Congress allows him to do that.
Yes. Yeah, why can't we continue to drill our own oil and get rid of that?
Yeah,
and can you do that?
I would love nothing more than to get rid of the EPA. They infiltrate even our county governments and cause them to mandate stuff to us that's really a mandate from the federal government. But we can get rid of that. But we just have to have the willpower to do that. We should have clean air and should have clean water. I think we all want that. But what we don't want is for them to tell us how to operate our lands and restrict us from using our freedoms that we have in this country to move a business, to locate, to build. They're just choking off the economy of this country. They're choking it off. And they're not giving us anything in return except for empty promises.
I mean, can you really stop that?
I think we can. If you look at what happened, the Tea Parties all across America have come alive. 3 years ago, nobody had ever heard of the Tea Parties. But now you have them fearing in their boots so much about the power that we, the people, have, that they are maligning you, they are calling you names, they are dismissing you, they are doing anything to make you look like horrible people. And the reason they do that is because they are afraid of the power of the people. And you, the people, have that opportunity to do that. And so it's my belief, I'm a Reagan optimist. I believe that we in America can do anything, including throw the snakes out of office and return the country back to the way our founders